All right, gang, we are live, ready to go. Let's make sure we have some sound. And then after that, I will be good and golden. My little girl is whining and crying because she's tired. It's very late here, so I appreciate you joining us. This is the Ivy League live stream. I'm Justin. I know you don't see me right now. I don't have the camera on. I hope you guys had a wonderful day. What we're going to do right now is I'm going to give you guys my watch list, everything that I'm going to be watching tomorrow, going into next week, all that fun stuff. Let's make sure we're live. We're good. So let's get right into it, guys. I need you to understand, ladies and gents, please, I urge you, hit that like button, subscribe, share this with a friend. That would allow us to get seen by someone else that would like to be here. We trade live Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 4. Let's finish this week off strong. I appreciate you so much for hitting that like button, subscribing. We're on our way to 1,000 subscribers. If we can get there, I don't have to say this anymore. We do this free 99. So if you appreciate the hard work, the content that we provide, which is to give you guys opportunities and put you in places where you're going to be able to make something of yourself. It's up to you to execute. Practice, give it time. If you're new, join us on the live stream. Engage, ask questions, guys. The markets are always evolving and changing. You have to notice and be able to understand when that's going on and where you need to be. Where are the institutions? Thursday, Wednesday, guys, I've been giving you 184 Tesla. For an example, the biggest trade of the week. We were on this before. We've been watching this for 2 weeks now. Okay, I told you guys before it was even here, I was looking for our inverse head and shoulders, and we got it. And we got the increase in volume through the break of the neckline. We're going to go right into this along with everything else. Let's get right into it. Again, I appreciate you. Just do me a solid, guys. That's all I ask. Just, if you could, hit that like button and subscribe. Appreciate you. Let's do it. S&Ps. Tomorrow, I'm going to be watching for, do we crack this level? Now, here's what I want you guys to see. This is the S&P 500 right here. All right. This level right here is going to be 500. Okay. 500. Do we go back and test it? Or do we start to make this area above us, 503.50, resistance? Okay. What I want you to notice, this is the evolving change of the market. Okay. Here's the Qs. What do you notice about the Qs? Okay, you can see they're not closing. They're trying to close below. All right, the SPY. Let me paint the picture for anybody that's new. The SPY is up here. The SPY is right there. All right, the SPY is up at this level. That would be 437 for the Qs. All right, let's look at the Dow. Let's look at the Dow. Oh, it even went higher. Look, we're where that double top on the SPY is. The Qs are down here. The SPY is here, or a little bit lower. Okay, right here. So what's leading? The Dow. Okay, there's the Dow. Let's go to the IWM. The IWM is past it. How are we able to profit from this? How do we go about the evolving change of the markets? Understanding where the indexes are and where we want to be in the market. Bloomberg. I don't know what happened to my TV. I do apologize. I had to turn it. Okay. What is going on? Wow. Bloomberg. I apologize. So, understand what stocks are in each index, okay? Relative strength, relative weakness. Well, if the Qs are putting in a lower high, well, chances are we may want to start thinking about shorting tech names and being long names like JP Morgan. What's breaking out? Let's go to Oxy Petroleum. Oh, breaking out. Goldman Sachs. Oh, what a nice day. All right, this is what I'm here to help you guys learn and understand. And if you learn how the markets work and operate, you'll understand that options are not a scam if you learn how to manage your risk with them and actually learn them. And I'm talking learning the gamma or learning the Greeks, All right. Understanding that, hey, this is this. If it moves $1, I'm going to make this or that. If my delta is 50, every dollar I can make 50 cents. If it goes down $1 and I'm long, I'm going to lose 50 cents. Okay. So, and again, you can kind of over time compound how fast it gets to that level, so we could talk more about that on live. Again, I urge you, please hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already done so. We are on our way to 1,000 subscribers, and we want you there, because when we get there, I'm doing a giveaway, all right? And I would like to be able to, you could be the one. So let's keep it moving. All right, S&Ps. Let's see if this market continues in the direction. Is the Dow able to make a new high, which is DIA? Are we able to hold 387.50, start to climb higher? Well, chances are I think we can. Why is that? Well, the IWM has already done so. So if we're going to look for the market direction, we want to first start with the IWM. If we look at the IWM, if we can just break 205, guys, we don't have anything stopping us till about 210. Okay, you could have an idea here for a long on the IWM. All right. This is an idea. So if the IWM is going to go to 210, well, chances are the Dow, it's probably going to break 389 and go to new highs. The SPY, probably going to get, I don't know what's going on. I know there was a Russian router thing, hacks. I don't know if that was going on right now or not, guys. Anyway, 503.50 will probably get broken, or we could get to it. Support 501 on the SPY. See if we can hold that. What I'm going to do, though, I'm not going to look to say, is this holding? Is that holding? I'm going to look. IWM and Dow are the leaders right now. Are they continuing that trend? If they are, okay, I'm going to expect SPY at 503.50, possibly make a new high of the year. Okay, if that's not the case, if the IWM and the Dow cannot break out, what am I going to do? I'm going to look at the Qs to say, okay, is there enough strength in the weakness to bring the Qs down to this level to pull it back maybe 433 or 434? Okay, 434 on the Qs is the area I'm going to look for. All right, 434. Then that would mean weakness in tech. Unless this holds, I'm going to look for this to hold, right? I'm going to see what's leading, what's lagging. And then from there, all right, does that give me, which is going to go right into the watch list, an Apple long? Do we get that pullback and we get an Apple long? That's the Dow, that's the SPY. So if we can get some strength there, you have relative weakness out of Apple. We have been talking about being short. I never got my second opportunity. We got the gap down, and I never was able to get my 189 entry. I was a little picky with it because I said, okay, maybe we get that bounce off of 186, right? Look how far you gap down off of 186. So it's okay. We let these things go. All right, we let these things go. I think I just moved the chat. Oh no. Nvidia, yes, Uriv, pleasure to meet you. Glad you're here. If you guys have any questions, throw them in the chat. I'll get to them right as soon as I'm done. And if you could, just do us a solid. I just urge you guys. I need you guys to just hit the like button and subscribe. That's all, baby. That's all it is. All right. So, if the Dow is leading, or if the IWM continues this trajectory, I want to look for the Dow to follow behind. Then I'm going to look for Dow names. I'm going to look for names in the IWM to continue this, upside. Then I'm going to look for the Qs, which would be tech names, the NASDAQ 100. I would look for them to also follow, but not follow so much. And when we get to that point where we turn around, bang, we're going to put on the short for the tech names if we can get that going. If whether it's a piece of news or we just hit resistance, whether it's a news-driven or a, technical level. So, first thing is first, guys. All right, let me go through my watch list real quick. So you guys understand the index, right? We're going to be watching the Dow, the IWM, to see if they can continue higher. I feel like they can. The IWM has room to 210 if it can break out. It's already broken out. If we just pull back, hold 203, what is that? Monday, Tuesday's highs. Okay? If we can hold that, Yes, Monday highs. And we try to grind higher. All right. Then I will look for names like, or that are in the Dow to follow behind. Let's go into the first list, guys. JP Morgan. Banks had a wonderful day. Banks had a huge day today. All right. If we can just get that pullback, that would allow us to look at, I personally would like a 177, 176 long for JP Morgan. All right. Look at this breakout. Look at this. Bang, bang. 3 days, guys. This is a huge move in the banks. From low to high, you're talking a 5% move. That's a killer move there. Even the strength today in JP Morgan was just something else, all right? We were busy with Tesla today. So if we get that mild pullback, we'll look for JP Morgan. We'll look for that 179 to hold and see if we can just try to just grind a bit higher, all right? I'm going to be watching the indexes again. I don't want you to forget that. I'm going to watch IWM and Dow, who led today, and see if we can continue. If we don't, then, again, join us. We trade live right here on this channel, Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 4. JP Morgan, that's the first one. Ultimately, I would like a 176, 177 pullback, possible long. If we start running out of strength, you could look for some downside. All right, you could look to get short, but I'm not going to get short on a strong name. I want to get short on a name that's already weak. That way, if the market pulls back, we really get that follow through. All right, so that's JP Morgan. That's the first one on the list. Let's talk about the second one, Tesla. All right, guys, so I told you guys since Monday and even last week, we've been watching it all in here, this rally here. When we got this pullback to 194 or 187... 185 to 187. It's this little area right here. I told you guys Wednesday, right here, you could have been long this name. If you guys, if you're new here, welcome. You could have gotten long Tesla on Wednesday. Wednesday and today, I was completely focused on Tesla putting in that right shoulder. If we're going to put in this inverse head and shoulder, this is where I need to be a buyer because I'm going to know pretty quickly that I'm wrong. If I get my entry at 184, it's only going to take me to 182, a break of 182, to tell me that I'm wrong. Even if we consolidated here and held, that I'm still right. And maybe this thing extends till Friday. But it didn't. It extended Wednesday. You got the gap up this morning verbatim. If you go to my live stream from today, I drew this candle for you. I drew this candle right there for you. I said right off the bell, I want to get a quick pullback to 188 or 189, 188.80 area. I said 188.75. I said I want to pull right into yesterday's close to 189, and I want to look to get long. Verbatim. We can go right to the watch list. You can go right to the previous video and see that. And that's what you caught. I paid up for it. I think I got in right here or I got in right here. I have to go back and look. It was either off of this pullback or it was this pullback. I want to say it might have been this pullback here where we got the long. Beautiful, beautiful trade today. What else? I think I traded something else. I can't remember what it was. I know I took a quick scalp for a quick lesson on AMD, but we'll get right into the semiconductors. So that's Tesla. What do I want to see tomorrow? More importantly, let's go to a 15-minute chart. I want to see a pullback, guys, into it. Here's what I want to see. I want to see if 198 to 197, 198 to 197, if that's able to hold. All right. There's a few reasons why. If you were to go back on the 4-hour chart, we're a bit overextended, as far as a 4-hour. The daily, not so much. All right. We're getting a bit overextended. So I want to see if we can start to pull Tesla back. And if we can pull back, I would like to try to get the neckline. All right. I would like to try and get, even another shot at like 191 or 192. To 195, like to anywhere in this area. If we get to 195, really, I'm going to tell you right now, 194. I'm going to tell you right now, 194, if we get this area right here, I will put on the long, and I will give it a little bit of room and a little bit of time, or I will wait and see if we can get this. I think Tesla still needs a pullback to like 188, but I don't think we get it. There's too much momentum. All right, we look for the pullback. 195, take the long. All right, it's not going to be exactly. It could be 194. You got to give it an area. But if we pull back, the thing is if you got to watch for a gap up. If we get a gap up tomorrow, all right, our target already was 210. So 210 to 208 is our target. Wait for the pullback, guys. Wait for the pullback unless you see double the unless you see like double the volume from today. Like you start seeing volume bars that like, you know, kind of like bring you like up, which would be crazy. You know, there could be a lot of shorts in this name. If you see some like volume bars that are like way up in that area, right? That it's just full. Join us tomorrow. We'll cover it. You know, you could get a lot of volume tomorrow and just get another extension. Where would that be? If, let's say, if we're able to just randomly break 208, 210, if the market's going to the upside, where's the next level? The next level is going to be the 50-day at 220. All right, but I don't think we get there tomorrow. I'm not ruling it out, though. You can see here, look at the volume. Look at the volume from the earnings day. If we start matching that, watch out, all right? But pullbacks, got to be a pullback 195 at least. You know, if we stick 195, 194, we'll take the long there, pull it back, try to take the long. I think that that's too easy, though. I'm telling you right now. I think that might be a little too easy. I think we get the pullback. But is that off of a gap up? That's the question. Now, here's the thing. If we open up at 209, 210, I promise you, I will try to take the short back to this area. All right? I will try to take the short off of 210, 208 if we come in with a gap up and look for that quick pullback. Watch and see if it brings in new shorts if we get a gap up tomorrow. All right? If we get a gap down, then I'm going to look for that area right down here at 194, 195. All right? I think you got to give it a little bit of room. 197 and 198. Again, there's a reason why I think you could get a pullback or a gap down to like 197 to 198 and not 195. There's a reason for that. All right, and we'll get into that tomorrow morning. I want to keep it moving, all right? All right, Apple's the other name that I'm watching. We've been watching Apple. I kind of been watching Tesla, though, this week because I missed my short entry. All right, listen, if you learn to enter your trades at the correct place and learn to just let them go if you don't get it, you know, you're going to start, you know, benefiting yourself because you're going to make more when you're right and you're going to lose less when you're wrong. And we went through that lesson today, right? There's a lot of times where I give out trades and for some whatever reason, whether it's the stream or whether we're talking about something and I'm looking at something else and I miss it, if I don't get that entry and it's already like kind of like just, you know, either whether if it's to the upside, it ripped to the upside and it's too far away that I feel like I won't take it for a few reasons. That right there will first off get you a little bit emotional. I trade options. Now, depending on the trade, if I'm in a weekly or if I'm in 2-3 weeks out, a month or two, it's depending on what type of trade it is. But if it's for a week and I'm looking to be just a momentum trader for that day or 2 days, and I'm looking to catch that momentum, I want to buy right because if I understand that if I don't, and I do get that pullback, all right, and if something happens, you know, I'm not buying right and, you know, I'm already going to be red, and am I going to get that, you know, momentum back? If it goes back in my direction off of the pullback and I'm red, am I going to be green? Am I going to be red at my entry price? And do I have enough momentum because of that pullback, right? The point is if we want to see momentum, we don't want to see those big pullbacks. You know, there's a lot of scenarios I could come up with. Again, I've been trading for close to 10 years now. I've seen a lot of market cycles. I've seen a lot of candles, a lot of patterns, and it gets easier with time. All right. The best thing you can do for yourself is to learn the Greeks. I will do a lesson tomorrow. Come join us. you know, around 11:30 lunchtime, if, you know, depending on how the market reacts tomorrow, we'll go over that stuff because you need to know how much you're going to make and how much you're going to lose in those options before you enter them. And there are quick, easy ways that you can do that. All right. So, Apple, I want to look for, there's a few things I'm watching for Apple, guys. All right. There's a few things I'm watching for Apple. You have the 200 day. So, after hours, you broke this blue box right here is the 100-day moving average. You found out quickly at 186 that there was some resistance. There was news that came out they're going to do their AI. They're going to do a release of their AI. Now, I want to take you to the daily chart. I thought about buying this. Now, looks like you're putting in an ascending wedge. Okay, for the most part. Now, you can see here, not this arrow. You can see here. You can see here. Okay, and you can see today. Look at these tails. Right off of that level. So, what I want to see tomorrow is a pullback to the daily chart, on the, whether it's the daily chart or whatever. I want to see a pullback to this 200-day moving average. The 200-day moving average is at 183.39. So it's at 183.40. Okay, if we pull back to that 200-day moving average, see if we could hold today's close. All right, this 183.75, 184 level. I want to look to try to take the long, but I think it'll pull back a little bit further. There's a lot of weakness with Apple right now. So you got to watch the market as far as the IWM, the Dow, and the Qs, if they are still able to break out higher. If they're not able to break out higher, I'm going to wait to try to get Apple down at 182.50. Or I may not even take the long. We have to see what the market does. But if the market is going to continue higher, then I'm going to look for 184 to get long. And the 184 and that 200-day moving average. Pretty much this whole area from 183 to 184 is where I'm going to look to get long. All right, that whole area right there. If we can't get below the 200-day and we make the 200-day support, I will be long off of that 200-day. Where are my targets? Well, the first target is going to be taking profits in front of the 100-day, which is at 185. See if we can't break it. You may not do this in a day also. Tomorrow is the tell of the tape for Apple. If we can start to, kind of take back this move. All right. And let's see if we can start to try to get back up to the upside of this wedge. I really feel like there's a wedge getting pulled. Like there's a wedge forming here. And I think they want to stick to I think they're going to try to stick to this. Now, this wedge here, you could easily put it down through here. All right. You could easily do this. Now, the reason why I can't do that is because if I'm starting from a wick, if I'm starting from the wick, then I got to add in the wick. Unless I'm going to start here, okay, which could be a thing, all right, but only time will tell. I feel like the bottom trend line's the one I got. I can always match up support and resistance, okay, all right. So we're going to look to try to get back to the top side of this wedge, or does it start up here? And are we getting really sucked into that? Okay, I will put this up here. All right, so we have those to watch, but either way, I'm looking for a bounce. This is a nice tail. Let's look for the pullback off of 183 to 184, that 200-day moving average, and let's see if we can't fill the gap. That's the target. The target on Apple is 187. So write this down, just like the Tesla trade I've been giving out for 2 weeks. All right, pullbacks to the 200-day on Apple, 183 to 184. We're going to look to get long. You got to get through that 100-day moving average, though. You got to get through it. And if you can get through that, then I'm pretty certain Apple, can get up and fill this gap, and then we'll take it from there. Then we'll decide, hey, do we want to start shorting Apple up here? Do we want to let it stay in the long? Do we want to try to get to the 50-day? Because if we start to bounce, what's going to happen is this 50-day here that's red, it's going to start pulling it down. So if we can get up here to 186 or 187, maybe here's what I would like to think would happen, right? Let's say, depending on where we open up, we'll say we get long, all right, it goes higher. Just a real quick demonstration up to 187. Now this isn't, it's going to take a little longer than this, all right? And then it pulls back to the 100-day, and then you go long again, you're walking it up, and then what happens? You get that 50-day to start meeting you up here around 187, 188, right? And then they meet. So let's see if we can get Apple to start meeting that 50-day up here. That's what I'm looking for. All right, I'm drawing it out for you, just like I drew the candle today on Tesla. All right. So Apple's one, right? Pull back to the 200-day, 183, 184 area. Look for the long. We got to get through the 100-day. Now, you could bounce back to the 100-day. It could pull back and then go, we'll see. We'll take it by tomorrow. But that's what I'm looking for. You had some nice volume today. You had an increase in volume. That's a good sign. That's a really good sign there. A little bit of that is selling pressure, but you held the 200-day. Look at these tails that are starting to come in on the daily chart. So take notice, people are buying the dip still. All right, you had jobless claims today. People are still working. They're still putting money in their 401ks, their pensions. So money managers are still putting money to work. Tail. All right, tail of the tape, long. 200-day, 183, 184. Let's keep it moving, guys. Again, if you could, do us a solid. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. We are desperately on our way to 1,000 subscribers, and we'd like to have you there. And again, join us live Monday through Friday. We trade right here live for free. We answer questions. We go through the news. We cover tickers. Whatever you guys would like. We do lessons. We go over earnings. All that fun stuff. All right, so Snowflake, here's why I'm looking at Snowflake. If the market decides to turn around, I think Snowflake still has room up to 260 area. There's a nice gap here. I wouldn't really call it a gap fill, but it's like there's just like this open space right here from 240 to 260. So if you're able, you can see all this resistance on the daily chart right. Sorry, I don't know what's going on. You can see all that resistance. Look, tail. So chances are we're going to need some nice volume to break through that level on Snowflake. Okay, we do have a little bit of volume, but you can see this volume here is starting to decrease. Look at the volume decreasing on the way up. What else do we have? We have bearish divergence. Okay, and if you don't know what bearish divergence is, this is a slow sign towards using the volume, MACD, and all your other indicators. I don't know what is going on here. Holy cow. So if you see here, look at Snowflake putting in new highs while your RSI and MACD are putting in lower highs. Okay? And what that's telling you, that is a sign that strength and new and pretty much new money that's buying the stock is, a bit exhausted. So it's not going to take much if they start taking profits and you start getting people to go short or sell. It's not going to take much to bring this down. What else do you have? You also have what looks to be a double top up here. Bang, bang. So what I'm going to look for is 230. You have a nice tail here on 230. You can see 230, 227, this area right here. You can see that they're starting to, as well. Also, if you guys see what I mean, you see the RSI, the stock is at 201. Here's another high in the stock, or a high in the RSI. It's at 70. Or here, right here. And then look at the stock is up here at 238. So this is a sign of exhaustion. Just the first sign of exhaustion, or we could expect it. You have a decrease in volume. So what I want to look for at a Snowflake tomorrow, I want to see if the overall markets are a bit slow to get up higher. Now, this is what brings me understanding what is a stock that I want to be long if the markets go higher and we get another little push higher. What is a stock that I want to be long? If we go lower and pull back, the Qs are lagging, so that should speed it up to the downside. We should look for that weakness in tech. I want to look for Snowflake. If Snowflake can crack 229.95 to 230 area, today's low of day, the market closed green. It closed down 1.5%. So Snow was down, while names like, let's just use the SPY. The SPY was green, 0.69%. That's a decent day. If we go to Snow, Snow was down. So if we get a pullback in the markets, I want to look for Snow to break 230, and I want to look to see if we can take it down to 219.50 to 220. All right, that's my target for Snowflake. I will be taking profits. This area here was a gap, and you can see you have a small support area here at 227. All right, 227 from Tuesday. You can see this little support area right in there, okay? I'll draw in a line for you just so you can see right there, okay? Price level. All right, right there. That's the level. So if we get down into that level, let's say if we come up with a gap up and we can't get above 237.50. 237.50 is going to be my short if we get up there. If we don't get up there, then I'll look for the break of 230. Either I'm short at 237 or 238, or I'm short here at 230. So write it down. If we get a gap up, we get like a slow little grind higher, and you're starting to see the IWM roll over, the Dow start to roll over, chances are the market could pull back. The Q should lead us to the downside. Then I'm going to look for Snowflake to get short. If we gap up, we get that little rollover. I'm going to look for 238. If we come in and there's just weakness off the bell, depending on pre-market, I'm going to look for Snowflake to be under, or I'm going to look for Snowflake to break 230. Okay, 229, or I'm sorry, yeah, 229.90 to 230. It's an area, okay? And then I'm going to look if we can get short there. I'll look for the break of 227. Look to get down to 220. Like, we don't really have much here. Okay, I'll be taking profits along the way. 225. Final profit comes off the table down here at 220. That's Snowflake. That's a short idea. All right, we're going to mix it up a little bit. Roku had earnings. You had a few earnings today. I want to look for a bounce back in Roku. If the markets start to roll over, I think this has earnings, so names like this that have a catalyst you have to understand that they could separate themselves and do something completely different than what the market does, because they just had a catalyst. All right, catalyst will trump technical analysis every time. Roku fell out of bed with earnings, not sure what happened, probably lower guidance, or it doesn't matter. Obviously the market didn't take it too well, so I'm going to look for a few things. I'm going to look to see if we pull back, or if it opens up with a gap down. Let's say the European market, Japan, all the other markets, we just come in with a gap down. I'll look to get long at 78, 75, 78, and 70, or 80. I'm sorry, 80, 78, and 74. If we're down here in the morning, I will look to be long off these levels. I'm going to look to get long up to 85. Now, 85 to 88 is the level I'm looking for to get short. You have a nice double bottom here we broke. You have this whole support level that we have there. And if you go back, you can see this is a key support and resistance level that you're down to at 75. Now, if I take you to the daily chart, it's important to go to the daily chart because you need to see what's going on. Okay, you need to see what's going on. You can see how big of an area this is. If I draw this line right here, right there, that's where we're at. Okay, what level is this? This is 75. Now, I would like to get short up at that. I would like to get short up at the 88 level, 90. As high as I can get this thing is when I want to short it, which would be up here. I don't think we get that far though. You can see here, double top, right? Over to the left, 2018, 2019, you had a double top, you broke out, you tested it here, and you just, you extended the rally. And what did you do? You came back to test it again. All right. You came back in 2022. Was support in 2022. It was a support area in 2022. And what else do we have? Yeah, that's a 99. So I want to look to see if this level holds at 75. This is why I think it does. It is a major, major support and resistance level. Support. I don't know what's going on, guys. I do apologize. Support. Resistance. Support, resistance. We break, and we're back at that level. Okay? So my game plan with this, now that you see the bigger picture and the importance of 75, is that I want to see us bounce. Okay? I want to see us bounce to 85. If we cannot get through 85, then I'm going to look to get short at 85, right? This is also with a long. I'm going to get long at these levels because I think we sold off too quick. I want to see it retrace back up to this this support level at $88. And I would like to try to take the short up here at 88 to 90 and get short if it allows me to. Again, I'm trying to give you a few different scenarios here. I think the short opportunity for Roku is honestly at 92, but I think 88, this prior support, we break it with volume, it should act as resistance. And look at this day right here, 2 days prior. What is this? Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday. Look at Tuesday's sell-off. Look at Tuesday's sell-off right there. So what happens is if you get an increase in volume and you break this level, chances are 88 should act as resistance. All right, so I want to be long at $78, $80, and if we can get that bounce back up to 88, then I'm gonna take my long off. Then I'm gonna switch to the short side, and especially if we get the markets to get behind us, if the whole market decides to pull back, then hey, we're gonna be in Roku, and that should take us to 75. 75 is a key level on the daily chart. So watch 75 on Roku. Let's keep it moving. All right, same thing, same process. Another short, possibly. All right, the trade desk, TTD, they raised guidance. All right, they did not beat EPS. I'm pretty sure. You'll have to look, but I'm pretty sure they did not beat EPS, but they raised guidance. It's... You topped out at $94, we'll say. $93.50 to $94. Now, if we go to the daily chart, we're sitting at this level right here at $90, okay? You're sitting at $90. You can say we're holding strong at $90. $90. I want to look. You have a nice double top here, all right? You know, you can see here, right, 96, right? You can see here on the daily chart, this 95, 96 level, you don't have anything really stopping you. But in order for me to get long, I need something. You have a gap fill here. There's a nice gap here. All right, you have a nice gap here. You have another double top. There's a gap here. All right. You know, honestly, guys, I got to tell you, I just can't go long the trade desk, but $90. If $90 holds and we don't fall into the gap, then I would look for a long back up to $100. All right, you would look to test this $100. Really, it's at like 99. Okay, why is it 99? Because you have this level right here. All right, this level right here. I think it might be a bit overdone right there at 98.99. All right, resistance. Why is that? Look here. Resistance. You break above it, it pulls back. What did you do though? Look at that volume. Notice the volume. Rally. You break it on some. Look at that volume. You broke it on high volume. So chances are that's going to become support when it pulls back. Whoever was a seller up here at 98.33 is going to turn into a buyer. They just saw it go higher. So now when it comes back, anybody that was, look, you can see that tail there. So obviously there are sellers at 98.17. Okay, this is the psychology of the market that people don't talk about. You may have not been told this, right? Why does support become resistance and resistance become support when broken? Psychologically, the action of what takes place. You had sellers sitting here at 98.32. What happened? It broke. It pulled back to where the sellers were. Those sellers flipped and said, I will not sell this stock, or I won't be a buyer, because they sold the stock at 97.99, at 98, call it. They sold the stock at 98. They just watched it go what? Go higher. So they say, I'm not buying this stock until it goes back to where I sold it at 98. I'm not going to pay a higher price. It pulls back to where? 98, 98.80. Right back in that area, that zone. All right? Now those sellers flip to becoming buyers. And this is where the market gets tricky. They start buying it. They watch it rally. They just watched it go to 114. Uh-oh. It just went to 107 and sold. And then sold off on them. Now we have a bunch of what? Buyers trapped in here from $98. So we got to watch for 98 to possibly be an area where you see sellers step in. They've been sitting on this money for a long time. Is there sell triggers up here at 98? If not, green skies above. All right. What do you got here? 110. That's your resistance level. So we'll see if any of those buyers that were there at $98 are still there, and do they want to sell it now that they're at break even. That's usually why when you see a stock pull back or made like a huge high and consolidated, and it takes it's hard for that stock to continue to rally because there's so many people sitting in that name that are ready to sell at a break-even price that it's hard for it to go higher. But now you have a huge gap up. I mean, this thing gapped up from 70 some bucks. So we'll see what happens with TTD. My plan on that is I'm going to watch it. I would like to trade it. You can see, look, $94. We're getting up there, and look at that tail. So we're going to look to see if we got sellers up here at 94, or if we break, we get traders to come in and buy it up. I'll watch this thing from afar. I'm not too concerned about it. I think there's better opportunity, to be honest with you. I'm going to look for 90. If we break under this level, I'm going to look for 90 to become resistance. You can see tails here. So this battle is going to be in this zone. So you can see these two tails, right? Right here, tail. That means you have buyers. And then what do you have? Sellers up at 94 to 93.65. So literally this zone from 88.40, there's going to be a battle there. Okay, this is going to be 88.50 to 94. 88.50 to 94. That is your range. All right, you should get sellers up here and buyers. Maybe it puts in just like it just consolidates up here. That's an option too. All right, there's a lot of people that have been sitting on dead money for a while now, for a few years. Are they ready to go out, or are they going to try to sit tight and let this thing go higher? We'll find out tomorrow. So that's the trade desk. Another name I'm watching is Google. We called out Google this morning on the short side right off the bell and said we want to see Google pull back, and that's exactly what it did. Literally right off the bell, guys. It didn't even give you a bounce. It gave you a quick bounce in the morning. You can see that quick tail. All right, and we said watch this level here at 144.50. You had a quick tail right up into, I'm sorry, it was 144.75. That level right there. So you can see yesterday, whatever happened with the New York press, whatever it was, you can see this level became resistance. 144.80 And we said it, and look, it wicked right in there and then just pooped the bed. You have the 50-day. It ended up just slicing through the 50-day. This happened with Apple before anybody was talking about Apple. It was before their earnings. We were trading Apple before their earnings, and what did we see? We saw the day before it crack its 50-day. Do you remember the day that Janet Yellen came out and said that they were going to the Treasury or the government, whatever, the Treasury, they were going to borrow less for the month of February and March. They were going to borrow less, so interest rates got lowered, right? There wasn't as much of a demand. So interest rates pulled back, and then you had the whole market rise and go higher off of Janet Yellen. Well, Apple sliced through the 50-day. Later on, you got that news, and then Apple started to bounce. But the very next day, it was the short, and it was a beautiful trade. So we're going to look for about the same thing. I'm getting to NVIDIA. I want to go through my list first real quick, Yazar. NVIDIA earnings are next Tuesday. NVIDIA earnings are next Tuesday, and I can tell you right now, there was weakness in semiconductors, which is going to get me onto my next trade. We have had a lot of short squeezes. I've been with Tesla. Like, there's been stocks from mid cap, large caps. Like, just there's been short squeezes. SMCI. You've had DWAC. There was news with DWAC this morning. All right. There's a lot. So there's opportunity everywhere, and that's why I'm posting this watch list. All right. There might be people may forget about it. Like, there's a lot going on. I'm gonna watch DWAC at $50, but let me finish this real quick. So that was that. Google. So tomorrow, I want to watch Google, and I'm gonna tell you right now with NVIDIA. Uraj, I can tell you right now with NVIDIA, I will. Their earnings are next Tuesday. I can tell you right now, you're putting in a pennant here. Okay, you're putting in a wedge. You're putting in kind of an ascending wedge. And ascending wedges are reversal patterns. So if what else did we say? Tie it in with the Qs. Even though NVIDIA is a big part of the SPY, even though the weighting changed, I think, it depends on what the market does. So if the market pulls back, we know the Qs are lagging. So the minute the market turns around, again, the SPY's here, the Dow's here, and the IWM's at all-time highs, and the Dows are getting ready to break out. So you want to look at Dow names to be long. If you want to get short, wait for the market to try to pull itself back and reverse, whether it's tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, off of NVIDIA earnings, or for whatever reason. I don't know what data set we have next week. Maybe PPI tomorrow comes in a little hot. Michigan sentiment, I think, is also tomorrow. Michigan consumer sentiment, I think. So with NVIDIA, I'm going to look for this ascending wedge to play out and try to get short up there. We've been talking about semiconductors. You felt it today, where they seem to be a little weak. All right, they just didn't have the oomph. All right, SMCI also, and I'm going to go back to NVIDIA, but I don't mean to be all over the place. But SMCI, and I'm talking fast because I don't want to make this a 2-hour-long video. Got a price upgrade from Bank of America, if you did not know that. All right, they got one this afternoon as well. So NVIDIA, I just kind of want to see if it consolidates or this ascending wedge, and maybe the market pulls NVIDIA down. Okay, you're getting Google, you're getting Amazon, you're like a lot of the big seven, other than Meta and Netflix is the other one. We've been calling out Netflix that put in this long bull pattern. I told you guys yesterday, I gave you guys NVIDIA yesterday. If you guys were on the live stream with us and here in the morning, I gave you guys Netflix also. All right, I said, guys, Netflix is a perfect bull pattern. Day 2 runner. You could have made a ton of money on this. All right, look at that pennant. Right, it pulls back. It put in a double bottom at 550. A double bottom at 550 with what? With what? Look at that volume. Look at that volume. And what do you have here? Like, technical analysis 101. The stock is putting in a new low, right? No, never mind. I take it back. But that's it, right? I gave you guys this on Wednesday. I said watch for a pullback to the highs, whatever. Today I gave this out. I said look for this area to be a buyer. Yesterday's close and stuff, you can see that green box is there for a reason. It put in a double bottom, really almost like a triple bottom, and then it ran. So that was Netflix. So look, you have Netflix and you have Meta, all right, making new highs. Well, let's look at Microsoft, not making highs. Look at Apple, not making highs. What else do we have? Google, not making highs. Amazon, not making highs. Not at highs. Weakness. Meta. Netflix. Okay, Netflix making new highs today. Alright. Tesla is, we all know that they're down at the lows, but they did have a very nice rally today. So, you're seeing the divergence, guys. You're seeing profits being taken out of these names, and they're going to get put at low multiple names, which is blue chip names. The Dow. Okay. The Dow. Look at the rollover, actually. Wow. So it looks like we are going to get that pullback tomorrow, and I'm going to be looking at tech to get short. All right, I will be looking at tech to get short, but let me give you Google. So Google has a really I'm going to look at this both ways. All right. You had a nice tail off of this 50-day. It's still closed red today, 2.7%. 2.17% down. All right. Google has held the 50-day, but it broke it and then recovered. You have, I don't know why this is giving me trouble. I really feel like something's going on. So, tomorrow, in the case of the markets going higher and we get a little bit of a bounce, I want to look to see if we can hold the 50-day or if we come in with a gap up on Google. I want to see if we can get through. If we come in with a gap up, I want to see if we can get through 144, or if we come in with a gap up, I want to get a pullback to 144. All right. I want to get a pullback to 144, and I want to look for the long. All right. Now, I'm also going to give you the short. All right. Because Google's been giving us a move here. I want to look for the long, and the targets on that. I don't know if we're able to get this, though. I'm kind of like, I'm like, I think it's going to go lower. But if for some reason we get through 144 and we make 144 support, I want to look to try to take this up to 146, 147. All right? If we open up and we have a gap up for whatever reason, which I doubt we do, all right? Or if we have a gap down and we're just sitting here holding 142.50, 142. All right, 142 to 144. If we hold those two levels, which is like the 50-day, which is all right there, I'm going to look for the long to 146, 148. I'm going to take profits along the way. If we have a down day, I'm going to look to get short Google. It's giving us the weakness. Okay, I'm going to look for the break, it depends on where we open up. That's the thing. I would like to get short at 144. I would like to be able to do that. I'm not sure if it's going to give it to me. You can see, just like Apple, it has been very steady with holding this trend line. Okay? It's like an ascending wedge as well. Anytime it just has these dips. Now, this one was crazy to the 100-day. Like, it's hard to get short there on those. Okay? It's hard to get short at the bottom because you want to buy low, sell high, right? We want to short at highs and get long at lows. So I'm a little torn on this. Maybe we wait and see if we can rally because you have a gap fill here, guys. And what you're not seeing is you have a gap. You have a gap from 144 to 147. And then you also have a gap from 147.15. Really, or I'm sorry, I should go to the open. All right, you kind of have a gap from 147.50 to 148 or 149. I'm sorry, it's like 148.75. So there's a gap. And then what else do we have? We have a gap at 150 to 153. So it's like, you know, this is going to be one of those things where, you know, I know if we can't get above 144 and the market's pulling back, we already cut through the 50-day. Apple showed me what that means. Even if we get a bounce back, what happens, right? Psychologically, the next day, anybody watching Google, they saw it cut the 50-day. They got short, but then it rallies, okay? Then it rallies, and they're like, shit. The next day, it cuts it again or it goes short. They're nervous to go short because they've seen the bounce back. So they don't want to get caught short and get stuck in a bounce back. They get nervous. The psychological aspect, the market makes a fool out of them. But us, we know, hey, 144, is that still resistance? Okay, if we can't get through it, we're going to get short. Where are we going to look to get to? I'd like to try to get to the 100-day down at 139, 138. All right, I will be taking profits along the way at 141, 142. All right, but I want to hold to see if we can get a pullback into 140. That's what I'm looking for. 144 short to 140. If we get above 144, then I'm looking for 148. Both ways is a $4 move, no matter how you slice it. Short on the break of 144, we're going to get that to 140, okay? If we take the long, we're going to go from 144 to 148. And what is that? $4 is the average ATR of Google. All right, so it makes sense to me. All right, I'm going to let Google tell me what it wants to do. Now, we could have news, like, as far as, like, different stocks. All right, but as far as the market direction, I have shorts, I have longs. I'm going to let the market tell me what she wants me to do. All right, that's my watch list. JP Morgan, Tesla, Apple, Snowflake, I really like. You know, Roku at the trade desk, Google and, Oxy. You had a really nice day in energy. Now, where is this going to take us? I want to show you guys something. All right, because I'm going to look at this two different ways. You got right into the 100-day. Right into the 100-day. I want to see if we can get that pullback. All right, at 59.50. All right, 59.50. Let me pull this up. All right. We have this huge trend line that we've just been following. We're putting in either a big bear flag or an ascending wedge on the daily and weekly chart. All right, you guys can see here. I'm waiting for one of them to break. So far, we're holding up nice. If we can pull back and get the long, the thing is we're not very high. And look at the RSI. We're already almost oversold, guys. It's already a bit oversold. Okay, it doesn't take much for this name. So I want to see if we can get a pullback and look to get look for the long at like 58.20, 58.30, 58.50 area. Okay, we get the long and we look to try to get another bounce and attempt to get through the 100-day. It all depends on where we open up. Okay, they had earnings today. I'm sorry, guys, for this. I don't know what's going on here. All right, I know it's zooming in, but it should not be zoomed in that far, like that. Like, right? You see how that zoomed? How I did it there. All right. Anyway, sorry. 59. You have a huge resistance here. Chances are, when you break a prior resistance level, a support and resistance level like this is a huge level. We want to look for the pullback. And we want to look to get long off of that level. All right, we want to look for the pullback, get long off of 59, see if we can't take it up to 61. That's our next resistance level. That's how I'm trading Oxy. I'm not doing it any other way. What's that also going to do for us? If we continue to see strength in energy, well, guess what? You know what I'm going to do? Look at this. Here's the other thing. I gave you guys this a while ago. A while ago we did this. Look at this. I told you guys. Are we going to get this gap fill? It's already starting to gap up for natural gas. What other sector does this? Look, I'm showing you the divergence here. This was way back here. I'm showing you guys the divergence. We're pulling back, but we're pulling back with strength. All right? I feel like this is going to go higher. If it does, what does that mean for gold? Let's look for gold. All right. Can we get through 186.50? 186.50. I want to see if we can get up there. Again, I want to look for the pullback in gold. Remember how I told you Oxy Petroleum? I want to look for that pullback to 56. It was like 58.50 or something like that. If we can get a pullback on GLD to 185 and we still see strength and energy, which you kind of did pull back today. See, I don't know what's going on here. All right. Then I want to look for gold. All right. Which I'll use GLD. All right. We got a beautiful bounce off the 100-day moving average. Now, can I show you guys something? This has been a really nice consolidation. What you're doing here is you're getting weakness, okay? We're still, to an extent, rallying. If you'd have bought the dip, we're going to see if we buy the dip, will we get paid to the long side? So far, you have. All right, I was long gold, I think, in 2022. Yes, 2022. It was like, it's like early December when I got long, late November, early December. Then I took it into like January, February, March 2023. All right, I was already, that was the last time that I played gold was right here. Yes. Or no, it was 2022 going in, into 2023. Right up in here. Yep. What is that? January, exactly. It's when I was taking profit going into the new year. So that was the last time I played gold. It's looking really interesting right now. Look at that support level you have right here at 184, 185. Look at that. You could have a nice little double bottom here. Let's see if we get this 100-day moving average, this blue line right here, to act as support. What I'm going to do is I'm going to look to see if we can be a buyer at 185, and I want to look to see if we can start to break through. It's a little hard to see here, but you could call this. It's a little iffy. I'm looking at this. What is going on here? I'm looking to see if we can break through 186, 186.50. I want to look and see if we can start headed up to the 50-day. All right. I want to see if we can start bringing in some volume. That's if energy continues. What else do we need? What is the other one? We really need the dollar to start pulling back. It looks like it's up at resistance. You get the dollar to pull back, energy to kick in. That is the recipe to take gold to a high, to a new high, or up to the highs, I should say. That's what I'm watching. I want to look to take GLD to the 50-day moving average. I would honestly like to try to test like 189, 190. I want to try to get it to a new high. All right. I'm not sure. Let's go. You know what? Let's go through it right now. Here's a monthly chart. I should use gold itself, but look at that monthly chart. That's a beautiful monthly chart, guys. What you have here is a consolidation and a break above, and look what you're doing. You're holding that resistance level. Let me give you a box right here, and you're starting to hold that level right there. This could be a really, look at that tail. What else is there on the monthly chart? People don't think these things are important. Well, they are. Look at that trade line. That's your 9 EMA on the monthly chart. Literally to a T. What also is there? That also lines up with the 100-day moving average. So it looks like, guys, if we can close this month above this with this tail, maybe let's draw here's what I would like to see. I would like the monthly candle to look like this, okay? I want the monthly candle to look like this. Okay? I want it to have like a really nice long tail with a small wick up top, with that small little wick, or even, you know, the better, the longer the bottom end of that wick is, the better, because then that's going to tell us you had a consolidation, you broke above it, now you're holding the top part of that consolidation. That resistance is now becoming support. That's what we want to see for a new trend higher, just like we got back in 2010, 2011. Let's go to the weekly chart. All right, let's look at the weekly chart. Oh, wow. What else do you have at the weekly? You have the 50-day moving average right here as well. Major level of, man, if we can make this support, guys, we're buying this early for the rally. Look at this curl over, support being coming in. Tomorrow will be the tell of the tape into next week. Guys, we got to hold this level tomorrow. I tell you right now. I think this is an important level, an important day for gold will be tomorrow. I think tomorrow is going to be an important day for gold. That's going to set us up for next week and the week after that. Coming into the end of the month, you got to watch because a lot of things happen with gold at the end of the month. Okay? And between, you know, people cashing out, the banks carrying it, like reserves, all that crazy stuff. So watch out for the end of the month. We have a few weeks left in February. So that's GLD. Again, I want to see the dollar pull back. I want to see energy rise. That is the recipe to take this thing higher. I gave you guys the Netflix, JP Morgan. I was getting ready to say Jamie Dimon. JP Morgan. So those are a few of the names. Again, I'll have more. Join us tomorrow. You're seeing Netflix and Meta start to just make new highs, but Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, Google, they're not participating. Okay? So we're gonna watch the Dow. I don't know why. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm putting Netflix and all these other things in the chat. I'm sorry. So tomorrow I think is going to be an important day. It's going to be an important day for us to close out the week on each chart. I'm really curious. Does this tail really come in, or do we start to close down at 496? Do we have a down day tomorrow? I'm really curious. All right. This is a nice solid watch list. McCarvin, nice to meet you. What do you think about Bitcoin? All right, let's run it. Let's go look at the chart. I think you don't fight the trend. Oh, we had Coinbase earnings. I still got to look at that. I haven't even looked at it myself, so we'll do that real quick. Let's go look at Bitcoin. I mean, the volume's starting to pull back a little bit. Look, you have divergence. I think right now, look at the divergence. All right, look at this divergence here, okay? These things are key. Now, the rally's not over yet, so I can't say in the middle of this rally here that this is divergence. But you can see the stock putting in new highs, okay? The stock's putting in new highs, and it feels like you're running out. Let's put the pieces together. Look at the volume. Volume's pulling back. I'm getting this tail here, right? We're getting the tail that's starting to come in up here. See that tail? You're still trying to push up there, though. So we could still, this is our first sign. Today you got that tail. You're putting in a lower high on the RSI, but the stock's putting in a new high. Okay. Well, let's go look at even a weekly chart or even a daily. I think we got to look at the weekly because, oh, look at that. We're right at resistance, and we're getting divergence. I think it would be more like next week. Look at longer. Well, I can't look at longer term. Look at that. Look at this resistance up here. It's not exact. All right, it's not exact. You do have some open space here. This is why I'm not sure right now. Right now, you're in the middle of a rally. Even though the volume's pulling back, you got to watch. Maybe you get a pullback to 50,000, 49.80, and you bounce off of 49.80. Right? Maybe it pulls back to here, right? And then tries to extend higher, okay? But in the middle of a rally, you gotta, you kind of got to look at the internals, like the 30-minute, 15-minute. What are they doing? What are they telling you, right? It looks like to me, 15-minute, you got some divergence. This thing could push a little higher. But look, it's been making new highs while the RSI and everything's been pulling back. You even had some nice volume there, which tells you those tails up here at 52.80. Somebody's either been sitting in it for a while, and look at that selling pressure. This green bar really has a lot of selling in there. So I would watch 52.80, 53. You got to watch 53. But the daily chart, the reason I can't say whether or not we're in the middle of like pulling back, look at this resistance you have here. That doesn't mean that you can't try to get to 58.60. I think you need a pullback. I do. I think we need a pullback because no one's going to feel comfortable putting on a new long position here. Don't fight the trend, but here's what I would do. Just like Nvidia, anything else. If you see this consolidation, like you see it just consolidating, okay, at the lows of the consolidation, go long. If it pulls back to those and it starts to break it, you got to stop out. But if it holds and starts to go back up, you got to get back. You know, you just got to lose less and buy right. You know, you have to understand, right? If you're trying to go long, you're going long at the wrong spot, even if it consolidates, because it could break down. A piece of news could come out. The banks, listen, you also have to understand, here's the biggest thing, guys. This is also what I haven't brought up. Financial conditions. Financial conditions are literally at their lowest point, and we're turning back to the upside. What's also happening, the bank term lending program's coming to an end. This is why I think, like, this is about the top. And we're seeing days like yesterday, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, you saw selling pressure, right? That's institutions selling and just stepping away and then coming back in at the random times. Look at the volume, guys. Look at the volume. I told you guys 2 weeks ago. Look at that volume. And what happens is they just step away. They use CPI as an example to just take profits. Oh, possibly, sticky numbers mean possibly higher for longer. They're not going to cut. No, it's just a reason for them to sell it. We know we're going to get numbers here and there that are going to come in even a little bit above. But if we stay on the trajectory, we need the labor market to soften so the Fed can cut. But at the end of the day, financial conditions is the most important thing. This is Fed liquidity. This is liquidity, and I think this is the top. This is the start to the top of the market. If you feel what I'm saying, if you're picking up what I'm putting down, okay? You can see here, they step in, they take profits, and what happens is they're taking profits because a money manager's job is not to call the top and not to call the bottom, because you're not going to know. You'll be able to tell on reversals, okay, I think this is the time when I need to start putting money to work, or I need to take money off. Like if you go up to let's say if we go to 505, bang, you get a quick rejection with a lot of volume and it just rejects 505. Okay, 505 is a key number. I need to see if we try to go back up there and we can't get through it, chances are that's one part of the puzzle that's the top. But you're seeing them step in and they just move away. They let buyers bid it up. They take profits again for whatever reason at a higher price, right? They're taking profits into highs. Financial conditions are starting to tighten. That is risk, credit, leverage. Okay? They're starting to veer back to the upside. Once risk starts to go to that positive direction, that means they're taking profits, putting it in low beta names. That's why we're seeing the Dow start to, find its way higher. Low multiple names, dividend stocks, energy, banks, right? If rates, which also means yields start to rise. Okay? Possibly. It doesn't mean that they're going to. All right, but this is the chart you guys have to be watching. This is, to me, this is the SPY. This chart right here is the SPY. This was the bottom. This is the top. It's just inverse. All right, and if you guys don't know what these are, again, this is NFCI, which is National Financial Conditions. All right, index. National Financial Conditions Index, which is risk, credit, and leverage. Once these things start to go up to the positive, that's them taking profits. And this thing goes up. They start taking profits along the way. They get short, right? It starts going up. They don't necessarily get short. They just start taking profits. And as this thing goes up, then as it starts to curl, up here, this is where they're buying. As it's curling up at these areas. It could go all the way up here, but they're buying along the way. So I think this is the start of a pullback, and I've said it for 2 weeks. The thing is when you join us, because we trade live right on this channel Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 4 Eastern Standard Time. I give you guys what I see, and I've been telling people in chat that you're seeing signs here, right? You're seeing them stepping in just in case, because news could hit at any time. They're taking profits. They step aside. They let it get bid up. Again, listen, the labor market is tight. People are working. Money's getting put to work for 401ks and pensions. As long as the labor market's tight. But as the labor market starts to soften, that'll be less liquidity, less money. You also have the bank term lending program. The Fed is adding liquidity. Their balance sheet is getting pulled back, but they're still adding liquidity to a sector. All right. And when, just that's what I think, and as far as Bitcoin, I hope that helps, right? I think Bitcoin, you just got to see if you can consolidate. You got to buy right. If it gives you 47, okay, you buy it. If 47 doesn't work out, you step aside and say, okay, it looks like things are about to change. All right. You're coming up to resistance up at these levels. Like, you want to be in at 27, 30. You want to be in down here once these support levels got broken, right? That support, it never turned to resistance, but once you turned right there at 36 to support, you needed to be long. All right. Maybe you get a little bit of an extension, but you're starting to see the start of some downside. All right. Look here. You rallied. Look at that RSI. Look at that strength. That was your first sign. When you got that pullback right here, low RSI. Okay. Right there. Strong. Okay. It pulls back. Bang. That's our time to get long. We got a low RSI. Look at the stock is at higher lows. Let's go long. And look at that strength. Bang. Bang. Right? It's about being able to read the chart. Right now, I would let it pull back. See where you're at. Let it pull back to 4,400 or 44,000 and then look for the long. Don't be the sucker that buys in the highs. You want to be taking profit into highs. Remember that. It's overdone, which means buyer, it's not that it has to be overdone because it can remain oversold. It's just that buyers are starting to become a bit exhausted. So step aside, let them take their profit, let it pull back to the 50-day moving average. The area I'd look for is like 4,700. All right. And then see if you start noticing, okay, buyers stepped back in. They stepped away. Sellers stepped in. Sellers step away. Buyers step back in. And you start saying, okay, let me put a little bit of money to work here. You get profits. You got to understand you're already at the top, just about. Wherever that top is. You're in close corners to that top, or whatever that word is. You know what I mean? You're in close proximity to whatever that top is going to be before you get a bigger pullback. All right, things just don't go up forever. It could sit here and start to consolidate. That's what you want to see. You would much rather see, instead of just lift off for 3-4 months, sit here and consolidate from 50 to 40, 50 to 40, right? Consolidate. You sit here and consolidate 2, 3, 4 months. Bang, you get that second leg rally that could take you to 75, 80,000. I think that's very possible, but it's got to consolidate. And the consolidation is going to bring in new buyers. Okay? It'll bring in new buyers. So that's my opinion for Bitcoin. Right now it's at highs. I wouldn't short it. Just because something's a long doesn't mean it's a short. Or just because something isn't a long doesn't necessarily mean it's a short. Okay? You get the pullbacks. You start to see support. Okay, let's put a little bit of money to work. Tear into it, right? Just put a little bit in. Take a little long. If it pays you, cool. Take that profit. Wait for the pullback again. Use that profit plus whatever you have and just start accumulating it, man. You know what I mean? Just be aware. I think the biggest thing that you got to be aware of, though, is the financial conditions. You as well, man. You stay humble as well, McMarvin. It was good to see you, or it's good to hear from you. I'm glad you could spend a little time with us on your free time, and sorry, I get a little tongue-tied from time to time, but that's all I got. I got to get some sleep. It's really late. You guys heard my cat yelling at me. You guys have a wonderful night. Again, join us in the morning. If you could do us a solid, it would help someone else find us that would not only like to learn, but join us, right? They don't have thousands of dollars to join a group. They would find us. They could trade with us live, ask us questions. And again, we do trade live Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 4 Eastern Standard Time right here on this channel. Free 99, 7:30 to 4. So again, hit the like button for us, subscribe. We appreciate it. You know, it brings us back, okay? Us as in me. There's nobody else here. You guys have a great night. Let's finish this week off strong. And listen, don't get discouraged. Sit back, watch. If you need to, ask questions. I'll give you my thoughts. But just, it can get frustrating at times, but you just have to understand that the market is changing. All right? And that's why I'm doing this. To let you know, the Dow is creeping up to the new high. Okay? If the Dow's creeping up to the new high, okay, what's the leader? What's the laggard? This is going to give you the know-how to understand if the market is changing, what do I want to be long and what do I want to be short? The IWM is trying to make a new high. All right? The Dow is trying to make a new high. The IWM and Dow are your leaders. Look at the Qs, technology, not making, it's just filled its gap. So technology is lagging. So that means I want to be, if the market turns around, I want to be short technology. I want to be short NASDAQ 100. If I want to be long, I want to be long Dow names. Okay? JP Morgan. Look at JP Morgan breaking out the new highs. If you don't know what names are in the sectors, just go to Google and type in what stocks are in the Dow, what stocks are in the NASDAQ. That'll give you, once you see the direction from the indexes, okay, then you could go look to see what stocks are in those indexes. You could even to go as far as when you find out those stocks, which ones are really lagging and which ones are really leading. So the ones that are really lagging, if the market pulls back, they're going to give you the biggest downside. But that can get a little, not necessarily technical, but if you understand what I'm saying, right? If you have Apple in the NASDAQ and like Roku in the NASDAQ, and like Roku just had this huge pullback, or like, it's like a stock that's just, not sitting at highs and it's kind of sluggish versus a stock that's strong in the NASDAQ, and it pulls back. You want to be weak, the weak name in the weak index. I don't want to confuse you. Keep it simple, right? The Dow's going higher, the Qs are lagging. You want to be long Dow names, which is low multiple, blue chip names like JP Morgan, all right, UNH, okay, healthcare, IBM, okay, names like those. Look at them. They're sitting up at highs, trying to make highs. Where's Apple in comparison to that? It's down here. Where's Google? Down here. Where's Amazon? Down here. All right. Where's Microsoft? Down here. You see the difference? This is still kind of at all-time highs. So is the big seven leading us down? But Meta is up here. All right. But anyway, keep it simple. Again, join us tomorrow. We'll see you in the morning. Have a great night, guys. Be thankful. You guys have the opportunity to trade markets. There's a lot of people around the world that don't even get this opportunity. So let's all be thankful. Let's be thankful that we're above ground. We have food, water, shelter, the things that we need. And, do a stranger a favor. Somebody's behind you. Pay for their coffee. Say hello. Tell them they look nice. Spread positivity. Spread as positivity. We need it in this time. But that's all I got, guys. Thank you guys for joining us. Like, share, subscribe. You guys have a great night. I'll see you guys bright and early in the morning.